Hello again, everybody, and welcome to another Vegas Voice segment of People and Places. I'm Dan Roberts, publisher of the Vegas Voice, and I have the great pleasure of introducing you to all the wonderful people who make this community so special. I am extremely lucky to have today a wonderful guest, and that is Maria Bailey from Success City.
Thank you, Dan. It's really a pleasure to be here.
You know what? It's our pleasure. For those who do not know, Maria Bailey and with her husband, Mick, they're part of Success, or they are Success City Online, and they are now the national award-winning website meisters, I guess you can call it, for seniors. So let's start with Maria. Tell us a little bit about Success City, how you started it, and what you guys do for a living and everything else.
Well, thank you. That's a great question. We've been in business over 12 or 13 years, and we started as a hobby.
As a hobby?
As a hobby. We were the Success City radio show, which was what is now called a podcast. So we were actually podcasting before podcasting was cool.
Really? Yeah.
We were. We actually were. Yeah.
And how did you even think of doing something like that?
You know, it really was a lark, just circumstances that just kind of came together. We had a small business, a coffee business, and one of our clients had what was known as, at the time, as an internet radio station.
No kidding.
Because back then, you needed a station, a building full of servers to have enough bandwidth to broadcast live on the internet. So they were a customer that we would serve coffee to, and one day the owner of the station said, "Hey, would you like to do a radio show?" And I said, "Sure, why not?" And that's really how we began. It just seemed like a lot of fun, and never done anything like that before. And that's how we began.
You know, it's funny over the years how the world has changed from a camera to social media and from TV coverage to TikTok and everything else. How did you learn all that? If you're not, if you weren't born into it, how did you learn all that?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
The one and only requirement that the station owner asked was that we learn how to do this brand new thing called social media.
Yeah.
And that was to promote the radio, the station. And, so we were just like sponges, just learning. It was fun. It was different. It was exciting. Nobody else was doing it. And that's how it began. We just started doing it. We would go every Saturday. Our show was, I think, from 10 until 12 on Saturday mornings when everybody in the world is out golfing.
Yeah.
And here we are talking about business. We would invite Chamber of Commerce members on the show. And it would go something like this. So, Dan, welcome to the Success City Radio Show.
Yeah.
Dan, I hear your show is a great success, or your station, everything you're doing is just such a terrific success. Tell me about your show.
And that was it.
That was
as
it.
simple as that.
And then I'd say, okay, it's been 2 minutes. We have another hour and 58 minutes. So what else is special?
The role of social media is, seniors hear it every day, and maybe they don't know exactly what it is because I had learned from you, and I'm still not very good at it. Social media is defined as what?
Well, it is media. It is consumed like media, like your magazine is media. So are videos, so are podcasts, radio shows, all of it is media. And that was one of the interesting things that we were, for about 15 seconds, cutting edge because It was brand new. And social media is just small pieces of what you are sharing. And for seniors, what I think is really interesting is it gives seniors the ability to be engaged and stay engaged and be much more connected than ever before. And, isolation and loneliness and things like that. In a lot of ways, the good news is a lot of ways social media has helped to reduce that. And then there's the negative, like your senior scams shows talk about, where there's just so much opportunity to be taken advantage of. So you've got to balance.
The interesting thing, and again, Maria and Success City, they've been with us, with 10, 12, 13 years. When we first started, I knew that the Vegas Voice needed a website. And I didn't know anything about it. And I went to you, and, it seems to me that from a business point of view, if you don't have a website, you can't do business, can you now?
It's tough. And there are still many businesses, up to 25% of businesses still don't have a website. Most of the businesses that we work with have had a website built 10, 15 years ago, and they think it's fine, but they don't realize it's broken, it's dated. Websites, like anything else, they're a fashion, so
Yeah.
things come and go. But the most important part is the technology changes so quickly. So they need to be maintained and updated and fresh, and there's a lot of maintenance that has to go into a properly built website.
You know, and one of the questions, and I always give you credit for it, is how can you put up with someone like myself who has no idea about the website and thinks it's ridiculous, but you really have to do it? How do you put up with a person like that and try and convince them, no, for the sake of your business, you better do this? And again, I just want to give a plug, if I may. We went from someone who fought like hell against a website, against social media, to using Maria's services, and you won the national award for best website. So we might get the credit for the Vegas Voice getting it, but it was really you and your people doing it. And how do you even put something like that together?
Well, you keyed into a really important part, and that's our people. We have an excellent team. We've developed a terrific group, and they're all as committed as Mick and I are to providing a great service and great customer service. That's important too. A lot of the reason that people hesitate to invest in anything digital is other people have been in the market and provided poor customer service or shenanigans.
Oh, yeah, I can tell you about that,
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And so almost every day we hear stories of somebody's took my website and they're in the wind, or I don't know what happened to my domain, they stole it, or they don't return my phone calls. There's just unfortunately a lot of bad actors. So that's been one of the big challenges. And one of the things that helps, I think, a lot is that we've been around, we're not going anywhere, and it's not just, one guy in a basement somewhere,
Yeah.
but we have a whole team.
You know, I can't even imagine now for the Vegas Voice not being involved with social media. And I guess other companies need to do so too, because what I'm finding out is as our website grew in notices and hits, whatever the fancy terms are, people automatically say, oh, yes, I know about your magazine, but tell us about your website. And unless you have everything covered, they're going to think you're just a little company that is not worth anything.
Yeah, it's a really good point. We have learned over time, too, that just a website is probably not enough for most businesses, especially as they're growing. And one of the services that we provide is a very deep dive into a company's business to find out what digital things do they need. We always believe that it starts with a website,
Right.
But do they need social media? Do they need email marketing? Do they need pay-per-click advertising? What other services do they need to get their message out there and to be competitive? And if their competitors are not doing pay-per-click ads, maybe they don't need to do that. Maybe they need to be more involved with social media, or maybe they need to be blogging. There's just a lot of digital formats out there. And the best news is it's digital, which means you can send it to people. Live radio and TV, you hit or miss. But digital products, you can send them anytime that you want. You can add a link and send it in the email. There's just a lot of solidness to digital now.
But you take someone like myself, who is, I admit, I'm a dinosaur when it comes to stuff like this, and I still don't think it's ever going to be a lasting trend, but unfortunately it will be. And how do you get a hold of someone like me and say, look, for your particular business, you don't just need a website. That's a given. Even I know that now. But there's other things that I don't even know exist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great question. We build what's called a roadmap. And the roadmap is a look at what your competitors are doing, what you're doing, what Google thinks you are.
Right.
More often than not, we'll put a website through software and find out what the search engines, what business the search engines believe you to be in. And it's usually not the business that the company is in, because the website's not coded properly, doesn't have enough of the right words. The story isn't told. And we believe that you need your story told the way it deserves to be told. And that means it satisfies you as a business owner. It satisfies the user when somebody goes to your website and they know what you want and what to do. And then that satisfies the search engines too. The search engines say, you're looking for this. Well, here it is. So we do a roadmap, and it begins with a really solid digital foundation. And that's usually your website is really solid. Your Google My Business is really solid. Your social media profiles are optimized. So everything is really well knit together. So if you've got that solid digital foundation, then there's all kinds of other pieces that can be added to that based on how much and how quickly you want to grow.
Again, it's fantastic. And toward that end, the Vegas Voice Success City will be doing a seminar on how all this can be done for your company. And that's going to be held when?
That's going to be March 26th at the Sahara Library at 2 p.m.
And if anybody wants more information, they can get a hold of me at the Vegas Voice. And in the few seconds that we have left, if people want more information about you, Success City, how do they get a hold of you?
Success City Online, and that's our website. All of our social media is attached there, and of course, contact forms, phone numbers, any way that they like.
There you go. So thank you for putting up with me today and all these years.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
And this is Dan Roberts for People and Places, and we'll see you again next time. Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.